Okay.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. And this morning I am having a conversation with Sue Ellen, who is from Essex, a little village called Coggeshall. Good morning, Sue. How are you doing?
Morning. Yes, I'm fine. I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. So I'll start off with the question that I ask everybody, and that is, what is it you enjoy outside of work?
Okay, so where do I start?
Well,
Um,
I do know for a fact that you thoroughly enjoy your crafting.
Correct. Yes, I do.
So,
Um, yeah, okay. We'll talk about that then. But I also like reading, and I also like dancing. And I was a member of Kelvedon Amdram Group. I'm no longer, but used to do that as well, and Braintree Musical Society. So those are my interests really. And playing cards,
So
quite a lot of different
all
things.
manner of actually activities that
Yeah.
are outside of any sort of television or social media. So it's
Yes.
the old fashioned, as we would have called it, um, activities.
Absolutely, absolutely. Interestingly enough, though, you can do crafting online. There are a number of
Yeah.
crafting, um, I don't know what to call them, groups, I suppose, where somebody will teach a
Mm,
craft online. So you can still do it online as well, which is
yes.
handy.
It is. And I think probably that maybe came out of COVID when people were at home and people were sort of it probably happened before then, but I think it escalated during that time, which is
I'm
quite
sure
good.
it did.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm sure it did. I think you're right. I'm sure it did exist before COVID, but like everything else, it would have, like everything else online, it would have escalated. Yeah,
mm,
definitely.
mm. But yes, I think having activities like that. I mean, I used to years ago used to be involved with amateur dramatics. I used to
Oh, really?
when
Okay.
I was way back in Sussex where I grew up, used to paint the scenery.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. You didn't go on stage then.
No, yeah, I wasn't one for remembering my words particularly well, so it probably wouldn't have worked. But yes, so tell me a bit more about the sort of the crafting that you do. What is it? Cross stitch? Is it what sort of crafting is it that you
I do
particularly
a number
enjoy?
of different. I do a number of different crafts. Most of what I do in classes or workshops, mostly because there's a time commitment. If I leave it to myself to arrange a time at home, because environmentally it's very small. I haven't got a lot of space, and so I don't do a lot as much crafting at home as I would like. So I go to a number of different classes or workshops. So it's across the board, really. I don't do cross stitch. I have in the past done some stuff with the sewing machine, but
Mm.
that's quite a long time ago now. Most of my stuff is I do cards, beading, mixed media, light light bottles, and I do actually hold a workshop as well myself, which is pressed flower pictures, which is real flowers which are being pressed, like we all used to do when we were
Oh
children.
yes, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Who didn't do that?
In a
And then you
book,
make them.
they used to go and pick them and then put them in a book so they would
That's
swatch.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But you can get proper flower presses as well, which I've got. And then you make them into pictures, and I hold workshops doing that. So yeah, so as I say, it's across the board. I like mixed media. I
Hmm.
like a lot mixed media and light bottles. Do you know
Now
what light
there's
bottles are?
well, let's see if I've got this right. So an empty bottle, whether it be wine or whatever, you then have the lights, the battery lights or a top light, and then you cover the bottle by you get some napkins and peel those back, and then use UPVA and
Now that, yeah, Now that's interesting because you're absolutely right. That's the first type of light bottle when I first learned to do them was with the table napkins. But you can actually do, there are a lot of other things you can do, but fundamentally you got it spot on. Yeah. But
And they're great fun.
you can just paint, sorry,
Yeah.
you can just paint on the bottle or spray the bottle or stick pictures on. But table napkins is the first type that I learnt.
Mm.
Yeah.
There's one that I bought ages ago, and this lady she's fabulous at doing making fairies, and it's a jam jar as opposed to a bottle. And what
Yeah.
she's done is a picture using, I think, partly napkins, but she's also to give it texture, she's used a glue that sets quite fast.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you can do that. Now, it's interesting about the jam jar because I'm wondering how because the lights that you use have if you like, a bottle shaped top, which you put in the bottle. So it doesn't fall anywhere. With a jam jar, I'm not sure how she fixes the light. That's interesting.
I
I
think
don't know how
it's
she.
like I won't go and
Hey,
get it now, but I'll have a look
yeah,
and I can let you know. But I think it's like you get these small string of lights, fairly small, and then you have the
yeah.
battery. And I think perhaps that
That
goes onto the into the lid or something, and then you fix it, and then
no,
you
I know what she. I think I know what she. Well, yeah, that's it. You see, it does. It is a string of lights
yeah.
with a small battery at the top, which fits in a bottle top. So that's where it is. But with a jam jar, I'm not sure
Yeah,
how she would
you
fit.
can get a string of lights with a battery little square battery with a switch on it.
Yeah, that is that. Yeah, I know. That's what I use in bottles. But
Yeah,
what I'm saying is, with a bottle, it fixes in the top. With a
yes,
jam jar, it's going to flop into the jam jar unless she has. So I'm just interested how she
yeah.
fixes that.
I'll
It
have a
could
look.
just.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yes, it is. But there's so many different crafts for covering a multitude of different genres, if you like, to give it a title. Because as you rightly said, you used to do or did a little bit of cross stitch. So you got the cross stitching, you got the sewing, you got the machining, you got free sewing, free machining. I'm fascinated with the free machining, where you have a thing on the bottom of where the needle is, and you move the material around underneath, so it's stitching, but it's stitching really ad hoc patterns.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's come on such leaps and bounds, hasn't it? Using uh, fundamentally a sewing machine that is static to be able to make movement and utilize it in doing all sorts of other things with it. I mean, it's mind blowing, really.
yeah, yeah. It is absolutely. And of course, all crafting has come on a lot because it's become so popular. And there's always new crafts that I can't even imagine. People create things,
Yeah,
create a new craft, really.
yes.
Um, well, yeah, one I haven't done and I want to do, and I've forgotten the word. We'll come back to
Okay,
that. I can't remember the word. It's ridiculous.
not to worry, not
So,
to worry. It'll come back at midnight, and you'll say, oh dear," or words to that
yeah,
effect.
yes, words to that effect.
Words to that effect. But yes, I think it's great because crafting actually and other activities take you out of your everyday
Yeah,
um, the stressors of every day, shall we say. And I think, in today's society, I think a lot of people perhaps need that or just enjoy it so much that they just have to do it because it's
yeah.
something that they really like to do. And it sort of
Yeah,
it takes you out of everyday stuff.
I'd like to make my living at crafting, but that's difficult. Very people do, but
Yes.
it's hard, and you have to be long established
Yeah.
and better than me. I mean, I'm reasonably new to crafting compared to some people. So, and of course, I've done less in
Yes.
some people. So apart from the flower pictures, which I can do that, but you can't make a living at one craft.
Well, no.
And I could do the like I could do well actually I can do cards. I could do all of them actually on my own,
Hmm.
but the ones I'm better at and and do whole workshops, and workshops are the way to make money. Um, is the flower pictures, but I
Yes.
could also do the light bottles. But you need a lot of the thing about flower pictures. You don't need to provide much. You provide the frame, a particular type of frame,
Yeah.
and you provide the dried flowers and the glue, and that's it. But with light bottles, for example, you've got to provide a host of
Yeah.
different elements,
Mm.
a lot more. So you have to provide a lot more, which makes it more complicated.
Yes.
But I could do bottles, actually. I could
Yeah.
do them.
But the thinking, just while you were talking there, I was thinking, and the lady came to mind, Sarah, who's one of the Dragon's Den
Yes.
ladies.
Yes. Sarah Davis. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Absolutely. Was
huge,
yeah.
isn't she, in
She's
crafting?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and
Um,
it just goes to show, though, doesn't it, that the not necessarily need, but the want of people to do crafting, and that's why you have people that are successful and are able to actually have a very successful business, doing that, just crafting of sorts.
the thing that I find difficult is not holding the workshop, because again, you don't have to do much yourself.
Yeah.
So you could be less skilled. I mean, I can do it anyway, but you can be less skilled because basically you give people the things and they do it. With other crafts, you have to be able perhaps to step in if people get stuck doing stuff.
Yes.
Um, but with the flower pictures, you can't get stuck really. You either do it or you don't do
You
it.
don't. Yes.
But the difficulty is getting people to the class. Um, Despite the popularity, I think I find it difficult because I've got a free location, but because a friend of mine's got a vegan cafe,
Yes, we know.
um, um, and I'm able to hold my class in his cafe,
Right.
but it has to be on a Monday morning. And most craft workshops are afternoon or evening. So I think that's why I struggle a bit actually
Yes.
getting people to my event.
Mm, mm.
Uh,
Yes, it is, and
um,
I think it's people's time, isn't it? That it's actually got to fall in a time. Well, stating the obvious, of course, fall into a time that it actually suits them. But yes, it is very difficult because we are all so busy nowadays.
yeah,
And I
I
think,
know.
finding a neutral time where it's going to suit a number of people is just, well, very difficult, very
Yeah.
difficult.
And so, I mean, I spent hours before I have a workshop posting it on probably 30 different
Mm,
Facebook pages.
yeah.
And it's very time consuming,
Mm,
very time consuming. So,
yes. And you've got to weigh in the element of actually the preparation and the advertising of what you're doing
yeah,
into your costings, because
yeah,
it is what it is.
I
But
know.
yes, yes. I mean, I think yes. I mean, I do. I have sewn in the past. I'm not a fantastic sewer. But I have to say, I did make a pair of trousers many, many, many years ago, and I'm
Wow.
so chuffed with
Wow.
them. They're very simple. They were very, very simple, and I took them to show my mum when my mum was alive, and I wore them and sort of did the twirl around and was quite chuffed with myself. And she said, "Huh," and I said, "Oh, that's not very nice." And she said, "But they're falling from your bottom." I said, "Yes, that's what trousers and things like that are supposed to fall from, because you have the line that falls from your back bottom cheek, as it were." And she said, "You got it falling." Yes, I know. That's what you. Well, I can't do that. I said, "Well, that's hard cheese then, isn't it?" She just couldn't ever get trousers to fall from that part of the body. Something happened when the material was falling or whatever. But it was that always stands out whenever, because she was a absolutely brilliant seamstress, my mama, and
All
she,
right.
yeah,
So was mine. So was mine.
yeah. I mean, what she couldn't turn her hand to was just extraordinary. And yes, so it was kind of. But Sue, it's been a pleasure learning a little bit more about what you do outside of all your business endeavors and things that you do, and perhaps another chat in the future, maybe.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you as well. It's been fun.